I'll be answering a question from one of our first videos in this series, Diaries of a Pastor's Wife, and it came from Sochima. I love you very much. She asked me how it felt switching churches after getting married. So for context, I was a pastor before I got married. Right, I became pastor in 2021. I got married in 2022. But in the ministry where I was ordained, I was already very, very active in ministry, and then I was ordained as a pastor. So it was a lot for me. Honestly, I couldn't respond to her question in a simple comment because it's beyond a simple comment. These are parts of my life that took a lot of settling into, a lot of prayer and understanding. And if you really want to know the answer, I didn't just want to like bunch up a rough answer to you. So I would like to title this The End of an Era, because that's what it felt like. I'm really honored by how much you guys have engaged with this new series, Diaries of a Pastor's Wife. I am genuinely so honored. By the time you're watching this, it may not feel like a new series to you anymore, especially if you've been following through. But I'm really so honored that you guys have engaged with me this way. The channel has grown so much. I remember showing my husband, oh my God, this video has been 1,000 views. I was so touched. I want to thank every one of you that has just started following this channel, every one of you that has publicized this series. I am so thankful to every one of you. God bless you all. All right, to today's video, I'll start here. One, it was not always an easy decision for me. It was not always something I was open to. I'll backtrack a bit. In 2018, I was dating someone that was not my husband. I think that was it. Yeah, 2018. I was dating someone that was not my husband. And he was an amazing person, actually. He was a believer. He did not have a specific call to ministry. I was not a pastor then, but I knew that there was a call upon my life in the future, and he was aware of that too. So we didn't have any problem. We attended different churches, but it also wasn't a problem for us at the time because we shared the same doctrinal persuasions. The first time I ever saw it as a problem being with this person in context of ministry was one day we were talking, and you know how couples used to ask themselves very scenario-based, hypothetical questions, questions that are not exactly real instances. And then he asked me, how would I respond if he decided to raise his kids in a different church? Now, for context, this man fully supported me in ministry. He knew that I was in a different church and I was very active in ministry there, and he was very supportive about it. So this question came to me like a low blow, like, why are you suddenly talking about, raising your children in a different church when we've both agreed that I am actively involved in ministry in this other church, and you didn't mind, you were happy about it, you were supporting me. Then all of a sudden, you're talking about raising your children somewhere else. And for me, you may be wondering, oh, why was this a problem? Especially because, oh, he's the man, the woman is meant to follow the man to the church. First and foremost, very unpopular opinion. I don't think that always has to be the case. I don't think you should make decisions about your church solely based on who the man is in a relationship. Now, you may want to fight me in the comments for that, but I honestly think it's a heavier decision than that, right? So let's leave it at that. Okay, no fights. Okay, so now for this particular cause, it was more, I won't say infuriating, but it was more disturbing because if it was that he had a call to ministry in this other church, or he was very, very active or involved in their leadership, I can understand the question. But for me, the question felt like he was just asking that, oh, what if he just feels like raising his children in a different church from where I'm called to minister? Would I follow him based on his desires to raise his children somewhere else? And for some reason, it triggered me. It triggered me because, one, what I just explained, but secondly, I was like, I am just getting to a point where I'm starting to trust God more concerning this call. I'm trying to get more comfortable with the idea that God can truly use me as a woman. And then you ask me this question that almost hinges my answer on the relationship. For perspective, this was not what he was saying. It was a hypothetical question, but I was very triggered by it. So it leads me to my next point. Don't carry future worries into present day. Right. So I told my pastor, I was like, Pastor, okay, look at what this man is saying. And that time I used to use question and wound Pastor Oge. Pastor Oge, God bless you for me. because he used to answer all my questions. And sometimes I'll ask the question over and over again, and you answer me over and over again. And one of the questions I kept asking him was like, what are the boundaries in, decision making when it comes to a relationship, especially with a man that I'm not married to, but I want to get married to, knowing that I'm in ministry. And then one day, he gave me a very different answer from an answer he would usually give me. And he told me, Chisom, don't carry future worries into today. You guys are not getting married just yet. Don't worry about it. And for me, I'm like, I want to worry about it. Let's know the answer now so that I will know how to plan my life. But I'm grateful that he gave me that piece of advice, and I'm grateful that I followed it and I took it, because while that relationship did not end in a marriage, and in hindsight, I'm grateful to God that it didn't, but while the relationship did not end in a marriage, I actually did enjoy being in a relationship with that person. Like, I didn't have the drama of, fighting over church or fighting over this or fighting over that, simply because I allowed time be its course. Now, this is a very, very sensitive advice, and it's not one that I will give to just anybody. There are some people you need to have this conversation at this stage of your relationship because it's very definitive. But sometimes I will just advise you not to carry future worries into present day, especially if you're not dating yet, and then you're already worried, oh, what if I don't find any man in our church? What if, just one problem at a time, find a man first, then we'll have the conversation of which church, okay? Another thing I'll tell you, which is really important, is as it is today, serve God with all that you have. Sometimes we are more concerned about what our future would look like. And it's a very important conversation as a woman. If you're listening to this as a woman, trust me, I understand why you are asking these questions, why this topic is probably touchy for you. I understand, trust me. But I'll just tell you, where you are right now, serve God with all you have. Serve God with all you have. When it was time for me to leave Circle Church, I'd had a conversation with my mentors, with my pastor, with my husband, who was my fiancé at the time. A busy fiancé. The man I was meant to marry. We're engaged. We had a conversation, right? And it was a daunting decision to make, but one that I was sure that it was time to make. But one thing that I'm grateful that I did was that while I was in my church at the time, Circle Church, I served with everything. There is no part of my heart or resources or time I held back from my church. So when it was time to leave, I didn't feel like, oh my gosh, I wish I had done this, I wish I had done that. I felt like I had served God to the fullness of the capacity that I had in that church. So when I was looking back, when I was leaving, there was no looking back in regret for me. It was looking back in thanksgiving, that it was an honor to serve God in the capacity I did in this church, right? So that's my story, and I'm grateful that it panned out that way for me. So wherever you are, serve God with all that you've got, and you don't have to cut ties. I have gone to Circle Church several times since I've gotten married to visit. Sometimes if I don't have a clashing service in my church now, I just go there just to worship with my people because they are family to me. I keep in touch with my pastors. I did not, archive that part of my life. I'm a very, very active part of some people that are still there, especially people that I knew very well while I was still there. So you don't have to burn bridges when you're making a decision like this. Another thing I'll say to you is the person you choose to marry, come closer. The person you choose to marry makes this decision either infinitely better or infinitely more difficult. The person you choose to marry can change everything. And when I mean everything, trust me, I mean everything. The person you marry is so important because they have such an impact on your entire life, not just your ministry, your entire life. If you're watching this and you're not married, I really, really want you to pay attention to this point, right? And I know that the story is different for many people, and I respect that. And I pray that if you're in a difficult situation, the Lord pulls you out of it. But I'll just share my story, hoping that it encourages you. So on the day I got ordained, I had told my husband about it, that, I'm getting ordained in church this particular Sunday, and I'm feeling, nervous about it because this was a point of no return. There's no unordination or disordination, at least to the best of my knowledge. So I'm like, once I make this decision, I can't go back, right? Once I say yes to this, I can't turn away. And it was very daunting for me for many reasons. And I just told him about it, and he encouraged me over the call. So when I got to church that Sunday, I mean, I was happy, I was excited, I was nervous. And then I had just stepped out of the hall for a bit to just catch my breath. And I step out and I see my boyfriend. He was my boyfriend at the time. And I can't explain the relief I felt that he was there. In that moment, I felt like he was not just supporting me verbally, he was supporting me in every action and inaction he took in our relationship. And it really deeply touched me. So that was just one thing that he did that really just made everything easier for me decisionally. Like, I could trust that this person had my best interest at heart, even when it was not within his control. I was not ordained in his church. I was ordained in Circle Church, but he still had my best interest at heart. He still believed God's call on my life separate from him and on our relationship. And that meant the world to me. Even the Lightroom. How the Lightroom started was really a push from his end. I had told him that, I want to start this podcast. I'm really excited about it. And then I just I stopped talking about it. And he will not let me rest. Every time, babe, this podcast you said you start, when will you start it? And at some point I'm like, Shu, is it your podcast? And then he kept following up. And then I'm like, I don't have a mic. That's why I've not started. And he's like, okay, babe, take my podcast mic. Like, he literally gave me his entire podcast setup. And the first episode I recorded, he recorded it for me. He edited it for me. He did my first set of posters for me. He was doing everything to make sure that I did not chicken out of this thing that I said God wanted me to do. And since then, he has been so supportive. Today, I wanted to record a video. Like, I'm releasing a book. Right now, by the time you're watching this video, my book should be out already. If you've not gotten it, please, I beg you, get it. The book is Auxano, and it's supposed to help your devotional life get 100 times better. Anyway, I had told him very impromptu that, babe, I told him a week to my birthday that, babe, I want to release a book on my birthday. And he was like, a book? Like, he knew that I've been working on a book like every now and then. In fact, for 6 years, I've wanted to release a book on my birthday, and I just never did. And this time I just told him very randomly, we're fasting for a stretch. And I just went up to him and I said, babe, I'm going to release a book on my birthday. And he was like, are you sure? And I'm like, yes, I believe God wants me to do this. And he just kept pushing. He kept asking, babe, how far with your book? I told him, okay, I want to do a shoot. I want to announce the book. I want to, by extension, use the money I've paid for the shoot, the makeup, the clothes, everything, to make sure I record more videos for my YouTube channel and I don't drop the ball this year. And he just pushed on ahead of it, paid for my entire glam session, something that I was really skeptical to do. He paid for everything. He's been so supportive. I can't even begin to narrate all the stories to you. But having him exhibit these qualities made the move easier on my mind. The fact that I could trust him, I had seen him, honor God's call on my life very separately from my relationship. I had seen him honor God's call on my life in our relationship. And it just really touched me. So when I made the move, I was trusting that this man is a man after God's heart, and he will not squeeze life out of God's call upon me. So the person you choose to marry is so, so, so important. And I just pray for you that as you make this decision, may the Lord help you. May the Lord guide you in whatever phase you are in your life. And as I said at the beginning, I'll say it before, wherever you are right now, give it your utmost best. Don't carry future problems and start to spoil all the enjoyments of today. Where you are right now, serve God with everything you have, and He will be your backbone. He will be your strength. At the end of the day, ministry is where God sends us per time. And that's what helped me settle my heart into Vivify. I believed strongly that I had a role here. I could see the vision. I believed the vision. In fact, it even helped my heart that I had attended Vivify programs when I did not know my husband the way I knew him. Like, he was not my friend. I did not have a crush on him. But I attended Audacity conference many years ago in school. And I remember how I felt leaving that conference. I felt like I could defend my faith. Like, it felt so empowering for me. And that was my very first vivid memory of being in a Vivify meeting. So making the decision to move to Vivify was not just sentimental for me. It was in line with my values doctrinally. I could see what God was doing in this ministry, and I honored my husband as a man of God. I could see the call. I could trust it. I could submit under it. So it really helped my heart. And I hope that these things I've shared help you. Again, my context is very different from yours. My story is very different from yours, but we serve a God that sees all our stories and is able to write them in the way he pleases. Okay, I love you all very much. Thank you again for following through on this series. Please, I beg you, send this to your family members, comment on this video, like this video or channel. Shall do everything that YouTubers beg for. I'm begging so humbly. Please do it. It really, really helps and encourages me. Thank you so much. I love you all very much. Till my next video. Bye.